G'day viewers, Michael Warren here from Essential Guitar Lessons, and let's learn how to play Come On Feel the Noise by Quiet Riot. Don't forget, if you like this lesson, to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Check out my YouTube channel, Essential Guitar Lessons. Lots of songs and lessons for all levels and new ones uploaded weekly, and I'll put a link in the description for you. Now, if you have any problem with the song, please leave a comment and let me know how you go with this one. Now we'll start with the chords, so if you know these chords, jump ahead to this time, and we'll also cover all the solos at the end. So let's get into it. So we're going to have a standard G chord, 3rd fret on the E string, 2nd fret on the A, open D and G, 3rd fret on the B and the E. We're going to have a D over F sharp chord there, so 2nd fret on the E string. We're going to mute the A string, open D, 2nd fret on the G, 3rd fret on the B, and that's our D over F sharp. We're going to have a standard E power chord, or E5 chord, open E string, 2nd fret on the A and the D. And we can also play that as our 7th fret on the A string, 9th fret on the D and the G, and that's also our E5 or our E power chord. We have a G5 or G power chord, 3rd fret on the E string, 5th fret on the A and the D. We have a B5 power chord, 2nd fret on the A string, 4th fret on the D and the G. We have an A5 power chord, open A string, 2nd fret on the D and the G. We have a D5 power chord, so open D string, 2nd fret on the G, 3rd fret on the B. And we're also going to use this one up the neck, 5th fret on the A string, 7th fret on the D and the G. So they're both our D power chords. We're going to have a standard C chord, so 3rd fret on the A string, 2nd fret on the D, open G, and we're just going to play the 1st fret on the B. We're going to have a C over B, so now we've got 2nd fret on the A, 2nd fret on the D, open G, 1st fret on the B, and that's our C over B. And we also have a C5 power chord, or just a power chord there, 3rd fret on the A string, 5th fret on the D and the G. And they're all the chords we're using, so let's get into the song. Okay, so we're starting with our chorus, and we just put a slide in there. And then when he jumps to the verse, we start on our G power chord. We're going to play it open for 1 and then just a light palm mute for the rest of the bar on 8th note. So 2 and 3 and 4 and. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then we go to the B5 or B power chord. Now the way he plays this, he changes it each time. The first time he's going to do it down, up, down, up, down. So down, up, down, up, down. And then the E chord changes each time as well, the E power chord there. So the first time through he's going to do it down, up, down, up, up, down, up, up, down, up. So. Then we go to our A, play that once, our G once, and then to our D. And we're going to hold for 1 and then finish it with 8th note. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we do that again. A, G, D5. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we play the first part of the verse slowly for you, then we'll do it up to speed. So we have starting on our G. Do that up to speed now, starting on our G. And then we just go back to our G power chord again. We do it the same, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we hold it for the 1 and. Now this time we go to the B and we just play eighth notes, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and for a bar there. Now this time the E changes, we're going to play 1 and 2 and 3, and on the and we're going to do an up on the E and the B string open, so 3 and, go back to the E, 4 and then on the 1 do an up, 2 more on the E, and up again, 1, up, and 2 down. So slowly, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's a little confusing there, just take your time, build your speed up on that bit, and then we just play the A again, the G, and back to our D, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and do that again. Our D, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then we're going to come up to our E power chord and just play eighth notes for a bar. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and back to the D power chord, same eighth notes for a bar. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's our first verse there. So we play that all the way through for you so you can hear how it's going to sound. So that's our first verse, and from there we go into our chorus. Let's have a look at that now. So for our chorus we start on the G, strum that once, and then our D over F sharp, do that once, and then we go to our E, and our count's going to be 1 and then finish on eighth notes, 2 and 3 and 4 and we do that 2 times. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then we go to our A, play that once, our G, and then our D, and this time just all eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and do that again, A, G, D. Then we go back to the first one, G, D over F sharp, and our E, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and do that again, and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then to finish that off we play the C over B, the A, the G, and then just the D eighth notes for 2 bars. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's our chorus there, so nothing too hard. So let's do that up to speed. That's our chorus there. From there we go into our next verse. Let's have a look at that. So for our next verse, the only thing that's really going to change is what we're doing on that E chord. So we start with our G power chord again. Hold for 1 and, so 1 and, finish on eighth notes, 2 and 3 and 4 and. Our B, all eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now this time on our E, we're going to play on the E and A string, 1 and 2, the open E and B on the 2 and, go back to the E and the A, 3 and on the 4 we do the up there, and finish on the and on the down, and we repeat that again. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we just do our A for 1, G, our D, hold for 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and repeat that, A, G, D. Then we go back to our G, and this changes a little bit here. This time we're doing a 1 and 2, and on the and we're playing the up on the B and the E string on the 3rd fret, so it'll be 2 and, go back to 3 and 4 and then we just jump to our B power chord, all eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then this time our E, 1 and 2 up on the and, 3 and up again on the 4, and then our and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and there. So same as the first one, then just finish on our A, G, D, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and again A, G, D. Come up to our E power chord, 1 bar 8th notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and our D power chord, 8th notes again, 1 bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's our second verse there. A little bit more confusing, so let's play that through up to speed there. So that's our second verse there, and from there we go back to the chorus and we do that exactly the same. And then to finish that off, just before the solo, we just play our G, D over F sharp and E, and we do that again. And that gets us ready for the solo, which we'll cover at the end. Now let's have a look at the rhythm behind the solo. We're going to start on the C, do the C over B, our A, our G, and then just 8th notes on our D for 2 bars, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we're basically just doing the chorus. We have G, D over F sharp, E, and this time we're going to play 1 and 2 and then we're going to play the open E, 2nd fret E, 3rd fret E, open A, so 1 and 2 and then we just play the G again, D over F sharp, and then our E, 8th notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then A, G, D, 8th notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and do that again, D, back to our G, D over F sharp, and E, just 8th notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then do that again, E, and then to finish off that solo, we just play our C, C over B, A, G, and then our D for 8th notes, 2 bars, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's the rhythm behind the solo there, so let's play that up to speed. Not too hard, we've done all these parts before. And that's all the rhythm to the solo. Then from there we go into the third verse. Let's have a look at that. So for our third verse we just start on the G again, hold for 1 and finish it off with 8 notes, 2 and 3 and 4 and our B, all 8th notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. This time on our E we're going to play 1 and then an upstroke on the open E and B on 2, then 3 and an upstroke on the and there, and then 4 and, so we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we do the upstroke on the 1 and we have and 2, upstroke again on the and, 3 and 4 and. So let me do that little part slowly for you. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we just go back to our A, G, D, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and do that again. Now this time we just repeat that all exactly the same again, and then to finish that off, this time we're going to come up to the E power chord. We're going to play it once and then another 2 times, and then just 8th notes on our D power chord, 2 and 3 and 4 and finish on our G power chord, just 1 and stop. So let's do that up to speed. I'll just play that first one through once for you there. Now we just have our singing, and we're going to do these octave chords. We're going to play the 8th fret on the E, 10th fret on the D, mute the A string, play that once, then 7 and 9, 7 on the E, 9 on the D, and then 5 and 7, 5 on the E, 7 on the D, and do that 2 times, so, and do that again. Then as they're singing, he does a slide, wait, and then we do another slide, and then we do our run down again with our octave chords. 8 on the E, 10 on the D, 7 and 9, 5 and 7. This time he goes back to the 3 and the 5, so 3 on the E, 5 on the D, and then our D power chord, just our build up on eighth notes for 2 bars. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that last little part there. So then after that we go straight back to our chorus, we play that exactly the same, and then we keep playing our chorus, but it changes a little bit. We play our G, our D over F sharp, our E, 1 and finish, 2 and 3 and 4 and, play our G again, D over F sharp, E this time, 1 and 2 and, then we're going to jump up to the D power chord, play that once, C power chord once, and then the B power chord once. So that last part there, our E, 1 and 2 and, back to our A, G and our D, 8th notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and do that again, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then our G, D over F sharp, E, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and do that again, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then to finish our C, go to our C over B, our A, our G, and back to our D, 8th notes for 2 bars. 1, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then after that it's starting to fade out, or it has pretty much faded out by then, and you can just repeat the chorus again. So let's play that last part up to speed. And that's all the rhythm parts here. Now let's tackle the solos. Let me play the main solo for you, then we'll break it down. So we're starting our solo on the E minor pentatonic scale. We're going to play on the E string 15, 12, 15, then on the A string 12, 14, 12, 14, on the D string 12, 14, 12, 14, on the G string 12, 14, 12, go back to the D string 14, 12, 14, 12, 14, then back to the G string 12, 14, 12, 14, now the B string, 12, 15, 12, 15, and then the E string, 12, 15, 12, back to 15 on the B, 12 on the E, and a bend on 15 on the E. So let's do that slowly. And then from there we play E string 15, 14, 15, start in the E string 14, hammer onto 15, pull off the 14, 17B, back to 14E, bend on 17B, and then 15B. So then from there we're going to start this little melodic piece. Let's try that now on the B string. 12, 13, 15, 13, 12, 13, 12, G string 14, back to the 12 on the B string, G string 14, 12, 11, 12, 14, back to the B string, 12, 13, 15, 13, 12, 13, back to 12 on the B string, 14 on the G, 12 on the B, 14 on the G, and then a bend and release on 12 on the G. So that part slowly. Then we jump to 12 on the B. E string, 15, 3 bends, and the third one do a bend and release, and then E string 14, 15, 17, 15, 14, back to the B string, 15, and then back to 12 on the B, and then 3 bends again on 15E, bend and release on the last one, E string 14, 15, 17, 15, 14, back to the B string, 15. So let's do that part slowly. Then we play the 15 again on the B and do bends on the 17 on the E. We do 1, 2, and the third one we're going to do a bend, release, pull off to 15. Play 17 on the E, 19E, 17E. Now this is parts that can be a little bit tricky. We're going to play 15 on the E, 19, 15, 15, 15, 17, 15, 15, 15, 19, 15, 15, 15, and then do 17, pull off to 15, pull off to 14 and back to 15. And then pull off back to 14, slide to 12, hammer on 14, pull off to 12 there. So that part slowly. And then 15 on the B string, back to 12 on the E, 15 on the B and do a bend. And then we're going to do the run the same way we did at the intro. Back to the E string, 15, 12, 15, to the A string, 12, 14, 12, 14, D string, 12, 14, 12, 14, G string, 12, 14, 12, D string, 14, 12, 14, 12, 14, back to the G string, 12, 14, 12, 14, B string, 12, 15, 12, 15, E string, 12, 15, 12, 15 on the B, 12 on the E, bend on 15 on the B. And then to finish that off, we're going to do 14, hammer onto 15, pull off to 14, pull off to 12 on the E 2 times. And again. And then to finish that off, we're going to slide up on the B string, slide up to the 19th fret. And then we play legato 19, 20, 22. And then do a bend on 20 on the E. And that finishes the solo off there. So let's do that one more time up to speed for you. That's your main solo there. Now let's have a look at our other solos. So our next solo, we're going to slide up to 7 on the D string, G string 4, 5, 7, and then play 5, hammer onto 7, pull off to 5, pull off to 4 on the G, and then just finish on 5. So slowly. Then the next one we come up to 14 on the G, on the B, 12, 13, 15, 13, 12, back to 12 on the G. Then we do our first one exactly the same again, sliding up to 7. Then to finish that off there, we're going to come up to 14 again on the G, B, 12, 13, 15, 13, 12, 12 on the G. Then we're going to do a trill between 11 and 12 on the G. To finish that off there. So they're just little solos, and then we have the outro solo as well. So let's play that up to speed now. And then we have the outro solo, so let me play that for you, then we'll break that down. So I'm going to start with a slide up to 14 on the G, on the B, 12, 13, 15, 13, 12, back to the G string 14 and 12. So that's our first one, and then we have 14 there on the D, on the G, 12, 14 on the B, 12, 13, 15, then do a bend on 15 on the B, and then do a bend and release 15. And then do that again, bend on 15, bend and release on 15. Then do a bend on 17 on the E. Then we're going to do another bend and we're going to do a release and pull off to 15. And then 17, 15 all on the E, come back to 14, hammer onto 15, pull off to 14. 17 B on the E, 14, 15. And then we're going to do 17, pull off to 14 on the E, 15, pull off to 14, and we do that 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. Then the last one we're going to do 17, pull off to 14, 14 on the B, 14 on the E, bend the 17 on the B and release it and pull off to 15. And then just play 17 again on the B. And then we come up to 12 on the D, we play 12, 14, G, 12, B, 12, and then we do hammer on, pull off 12, 13, 12 on the B, 14 on the G, and do that 2 times. And then just 12 on the B, 15 on the B, bend on 15 on the B, and release there. And then we're going to do hammer on, pull off from 12 to 15 back to 12 on the B, play 12 on the G, and then jump to 14 on the G, do a bend, release, pull off back to 12. And then play 14, and then to finish that off we're going to do 12, hammer onto 14, pull off to 12, slide back to 11, hammer on 12, pull off to 11, and then 14 D, 11 on the G, 14, 12 on the D, A, 14 and D, 12. So that last little part slowly. And that's the outro solo. By then it's pretty much faded out. So let's play that second part up to speed for you. And that's the last solo there, so lots of different little guitar parts in there for you to practice. Again, just take your time and build your speed. So thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.